Hello folks and welcome back to my channel. Today I have another in our studio etiquette series. I'd like to talk to you about custom ordering jewelry. Now for those unfamiliar, you'd go into a studio, you get your piercing, typically you pick out jewelry from the selections that they have in their cases. But let's say you're dreaming of a very particular piece, something that they don't have in stock. Maybe it's something as simple as a design they carry but in different stones or a different color metal, and maybe it's something completely custom and unique that's never existed before. Whatever it is that you can dream up, most studios can custom order that piece and have it made just for you. And custom orders are actually one of my favorite things to do at the studio. I love working with clients to design custom jewelry, but there is a lot that goes into designing custom pieces that a lot of clients don't understand. So let's talk about some of the studio etiquette surrounding doing custom jewelry. I think the biggest thing that most of us wish clients understood about custom orders is that the custom order process can be pretty time consuming. Depending on the complexity of your design, how custom it is, what needs to go into making it, this is often not a very fast process. And in today's day and age, everyone is used to Amazon Prime, next day or same day delivery, getting things that they order online immediately. It's very instant gratification. So coming into a studio and deciding to custom order a piece can be very much not what you're used to when it comes to getting something made or purchasing something online. You're used to it coming so quickly. But in the body jewelry industry, everything is made to order. That means every single barbell, bead, hoop, gem cluster, none of those are just sitting at our company's warehouses ready to be shipped out to us. When I order a mini candy from BVLA in yellow gold with a diamond, they go ahead and they cast the setting for that mini candy, they find the right diamond, they set it in the piece, they polish it, they quality control it, and then they send it back out to me. And that goes for every single piece of jewelry that your piercer stocks, that I stock in my studio, that all of the piercers all over the world carry. All of this stuff is being made only once we order it. So inherently, even if you're just coming in for a piece that's a design someone already has in stock, just in a different stone or a different color of gold, it's not as simple as the manufacturer just going, oh, we need a white gold trinity with blue stones. Let me grab one and ship it out to Lynn at Laughing Buddha. No, they don't even start making it. They don't even think about casting the setting or machining the piece until we've ordered it. So right from the get-go, every piece of jewelry, custom or not, is made to order. So if you are getting something that's just a variation on an existing piece, that is still made to order too. And the process of making jewelry can sometimes take some time. Now, when it comes to getting a completely custom piece, now we have to go through an entire custom design process. So usually piercers will send a written description of what you want to order, maybe even some sketches off to a jewelry company, and then the jewelry company has to figure out how to actually make it. Sometimes this means going through multiple iterations of 3D rendering a piece, trying to theorize how it's going to work, then 3D printing it, usually in wax, and seeing if it will actually be able to be made the way they're assuming. And oftentimes we bounce back and forth between the rendering and the wax phase as jewelers and piercers try and figure out what can actually be made, what looks like the piece the client wants, and what's going to work. Then sometimes it's such a complex piece that they send the wax or the print to us to test fit. And sometimes we have to go through multiple rounds of test fitting to make sure that we've got the perfect fit for a very custom piece. And after all of that is done, then they can actually start casting the piece, machining the piece, sourcing stones. And when we talk about sourcing gemstones, if you need a very specific stone, a very particular color, a very particular cut, finding the right gemstone can sometimes be as much of a process as designing the piece. So all of these different steps can take a lot of time. Now, they're all very important steps, and they're what goes into making a really, truly quality, safe, good piece of body jewelry. But they're also very, very time consuming. And again, that's where a lot of folks can get caught up with custom ordering jewelry. They're just not expecting how long this process can take. And of course, whether it's a completely custom piece that's never existed before or an existing piece that we're just doing differently, a piece can fail or break at any point in time in the manufacturing process. It's possible to chip a stone trying to set it, damage a setting during polishing, knock a bead off during quality control. Like, there are very often times where I'll be waiting on a special order and I'll call the company to see where it is, and they'll go, so we might have broken a stone or two trying to set this, but we promise we're working our best to get a finished, perfect piece sent out. And honestly, I'm really glad that body jewelry companies do this. Their quality control procedures for high quality companies are great. They're not gonna send a piece that's anything less than perfect out to us. So I appreciate that they are really being thorough, and if there's any imperfections on a piece whatsoever, if something gets scratched or dinged or chipped during the setting and the production process, they don't send it to us. They make sure that they're sending us a perfect piece. And if you've seen any of my recent review videos on certain body jewelry companies, this is not something that every company does, so it's really important that the quality ones do it, because this piece of jewelry is going in your body and we want it to be safe to go in your body and pretty, and we want you to get your money's worth, and that means that quality control is really important. But a piece can break at any point in time in the process of making it. So sometimes we have this heartbreaking moment where we've already been waiting for a piece a really long time. We are in the final hour, it is just being finished up, and something happens during the setting process. And it sucks, and we're not happy about it, and the jeweler's not happy about it, and the company's not happy about it, but it does happen. It can make things take longer to get made, and it just kind of comes with the territory of making jewelry. Now, the reason why I wanted to cover this in my studio etiquette series is that at every single studio I have ever worked at, ever guested at, or ever spent time in, custom orders can sometimes be a bit of a stressful process. We have a lot of clients who expect that pieces are going to show up the next day or the next week, or even very custom pieces show up the next month, and can become a little irate or even up to a little disrespectful or abusive towards staff when pieces take longer than initially anticipated. And I get it, you're really excited about your piece, you really want it, you're really looking forward to it, and it can be a bummer to have to wait a long time or wait longer than you were expecting to. But it is part of the nature of getting a very custom piece of jewelry. And as long as a studio is being upfront and communicative with you about what's going on during the process and where things are at, all we can really do is ask that you be patient with us and patient with the makers and understand that things take time. During COVID, there were a lot of really big delays with getting materials, getting supplies, and this caused a lot of companies to get backed up. And I know some of the wait times got a little ridiculous during COVID. There was a time period where from certain companies, we had to tell clients that it could take up to 9 months for their pieces to get in. And that, I agree, if it's not for something super custom, is quite an intense amount of time to wait. But most studios will be very honest with you when you're placing a custom order. Hey, this could take anywhere from 2 to 5 months to get here. And throughout the process, if we notice that things are taking longer, especially if it's a very custom piece, we'll usually try and update you about that and say, hey, like we're really struggling with figuring out the exact way to do this setting to make it look the way you want it to. Thank you so much for your patience. We are still working on it, but it's been a little bit more of a process, or we're having a harder time sourcing the right stone, or we need to spend more time with this casting. Whatever the case may be, we'll always try and be very honest and communicate with you what's going on and why things are taking a long time, but all we ask in return is that you be patient and understand that this is an incredibly involved process, and we want to make sure that the piece you get is safe for your body, is worth the money you're paying for it, and is as damn near close to perfect as we can make it. And that is not something that can be rushed. Just like we can't rush through doing your piercing to make it happen faster. We gotta take our time, properly clean your skin, properly mark stuff. Well, we gotta take our time to properly make jewelry too. So if you're thinking about getting a custom piece or you're interested in getting custom made jewelry, please respect the fact that this is a very involved process that can take a very long time, and go into it excited about this new piece that you're getting, but also prepared and ready to be patient for a piece to be made. And for those of you at home wondering, the longest I have ever waited for a custom piece of jewelry was just shy of 3 years, and I had one of my most custom pairs of plugs ever made by Jared from Dendrite, and it was worth every moment that I waited for those. I'll throw some pictures and some videos of them up here. These are triptych plugs made with a very thin layer of lapis a very thin layer of labradorite, and then a thick layer of optical quartz to create this glowy, magical illusion. And Jared designed the entire process for making these multi-layered pieces of stone, as well as making it in a way that would be safe for me to wear in my ears long term. This was not easy, and it took things like designing his own glue, figuring out the right way to adhere them, and adhering some of these stones together. They had to sit and attach for months on end. So this was a very involved, very custom process, and I knew going into it that it would take at best a year and some change to get made. But when I tell you, it was so worth every single moment that I waited, and I was happy to wait to receive something so beautiful and so high quality at the end of it. I'd wait another 3 years if it meant getting a pair that's this perfect. So please, when it comes to custom orders, be patient with your piercers, be patient with your studios, and be patient with the jewelry companies. I promise we are all working our best to make sure that the piece you get is perfect. This process is just sometimes very involved and not something that we want to rush. Thanks so much for hanging out. If you have any suggestions for studio etiquette topics you'd like to see me cover, leave them in the comments down below, because I'm still really loving this series and would still love to go over all of your questions about how to handle different situations in the studio. And I can't wait to sit down and chat again soon. Have an awesome rest of your day. Bye.